How soon, Charles? How soon is this bull run?
Something exciting is happening soon in cryptocurrency. This is the calm before the storm. You blink and you're going to miss this because Coinbase, BlackRock, billionaires on Wall Street, President Trump, and the US government at large are all teaming up and about to release the crypto bulls in such a big way. And this has been happening for the last 2 years, of course. 2 steps up, 1 step back, 2 steps up, 1 step back. But what we're about to see happen is going to make 2024 and 2025 look like the test pump. Send this video to somebody who needs to hear about Bitcoin and crypto. It is not too late to invest in crypto, in my opinion. Not financial advice, of course. This is all just my opinion. And I already know that many of the comments in this video are going to be skeptical, angry, and even bearish. Remember this: emotional traders make us money. Because Bitcoin has spent virtually 6 months consolidating above $100,000. This is a launch pad. What's happening with Ethereum right now? This is a launch pad. Seriously, most people have little idea what's about to happen and what's been happening behind the scenes. Most people are stuck thinking about crypto like we're still in a bear market 3 years ago.
So you're a long-term believer in crypto.
I'm personally most bullish on NFTs.
Right.
Because I think that that's like iPhone app, website, social media accounts long-term.
People do not realize that crypto has come such a long way than where it used to be.
We used to bring in all these different people who were big believers in it, like Michael Saylor from MicroStrategies. I mean, Michael came to our office when the stock was in the teens, but he was a huge believer in it, transformed his company. I mean, I could just say all these different people came in and talked. And then we became, we became a leader in working with the SEC and in trying to move forward in this. And fast forward now a little more than 18 months when we first started creating a Bitcoin ETF. Today IBIT is $86 billion.
And it's really unfortunate for retail investors that this is the first Bitcoin cycle that's being led without retail. This is Wall Street driven. This is institutional driven. This is about to become nation state driven.
I think it's pretty obvious that the countries that are adversarial to the U.S. will ultimately buy Bitcoin and potentially other coins, but I would say at least start with Bitcoin. And so I think there's going to be an arms race, right? And there'll be like Dr. Strangelove, strategic mineshaft gap, right? Like it's going to be a real race. And as you know, there's only 21 million. And if a bunch of people all want to buy 1 million each, it's not enough to go around, right? And there again, that's why I'm so bullish, because there's just not enough Bitcoins to satisfy countries' desires. I think the U.S. has 200,000 Bitcoins just, from confiscations, kind of a random.
And China has roughly the same, I think.
Yeah, and China has roughly the same. No, no problem seeing them wanting to buy 1 million Bitcoins. It's still tiny compared to their balance sheets, budgets, all that stuff. And so if you have 2, 3, 4, like say the GC wants to buy 1 million, China wants to buy 1 million, maybe Russia wants to buy some, U.S., like it's going to squeeze up like a watermelon seed.
So understand this: the Clarity Act, the crypto market structure bill, should have been passed by now. It already passed in the House, of course. It needs to pass in the Senate. And as soon as the U.S. government opens back up, this will be one of the biggest bipartisan crypto bills ever passed. I love this. This newly released Coinbase ad shows just how strong the push is in Washington, D.C. to get this bill passed ASAP. Check this out. Charles Hoskinson knows exactly what's about to happen. Charles Hoskinson is predicting the future, in my opinion, in this clip. And again, we didn't anticipate the government shutdown lasting so long. But as soon as the government opens back up and then a few weeks later the bill passes, this is exactly what I expect to happen to crypto if us crypto believers are right. This is the bull case, in my opinion.
How soon, Charles? How soon is this bull run?
I think after the Clarity Act passes, and there's a good chance that's going to pass in October, there's a really good possibility that we're going to see the altcoins pump. So Bitcoin will probably cap around 250, and then you'll see a lot of stuff work its way into the altcoin space with people looking for alpha. So I wouldn't be surprised first quarter of 2026 and second quarter of 2026 where it kind of really on the ascendancy, and then it'll kind of taper off and die down if it follows prior bull markets that we've had. But this is a different one because institutions are leading it, not retail investors. And so I've never experienced this in my career because every other one was a retail-led bull market. But overall, everybody's very optimistic. U.S. government's optimistic. I was just at a Senate roundtable with a bunch of people, and everybody's working as one voice to try to get clarity passed. And once that's done, there's no more Gary Gensler, no more SEC burning us all to death. The U.S. government's open for business. Just insane.
So quality crypto coins that are not Bitcoin and Ethereum, like Solana and Sui, they are getting adopted. People are valuing them, particularly for commerce. Wall Street is particularly interested in Ethereum. So when Ethereum finally fully clears its 2021 high, this is a launchpad and Ethereum will rally, in my opinion, like Ethereum's never rallied before, maybe equivalent to 2017.
The crypto community kind of abandoned Ethereum in their minds because they thought faster was better, which was why Solana and Sui, and especially when you had the meme coins, those looked like the place where the economics were the best. But if Wall Street is the reason we're going to see the next wave, Wall Street wants 100% uptime. They don't care about speed because they can build on the layer twos. And they actually find staking actually a virtue because that means the power law comes into effect. If Goldman stakes enough ETH, they have a positive voice on Ethereum itself and how they upgrade. Mm-hmm. So I think that, and I was just at Salt, Wyoming last week, and I talked to a lot of the OGs I know, and I'm like, ETH's been kind of dead and price for 5 years, and it has been. And I said, is ETH actually inferior technologically, or do you think it's just the price action stunk and that's why you don't care about it? And almost all of them said it's because the price hasn't done well, especially compared to Bitcoin, that they don't care about it. So I think that's why this year and what's happening recently is actually an important moment for ETH because it is galvanizing the community again. And of course, if we can stay above the new highs, which is above 4,800, as you know, that means we could have a really big cycle for ETH.
This multi-month consolidation we're seeing has shaken a lot of people out of the market, but not us, not Altcoin Daily. We are true believers, and more than that, we're true researchers and builders and investors, and really here for the right reasons and really have a strong investor's thesis on quality coins on this channel. Make sure you subscribe. We keep you in tune with everything going on in the market every single day. Somebody else, another leader in this space who certainly has his finger on the pulse, I think what he says here, again, I think this is likely to happen. This is also a bull case. You might want to get some Bitcoin just in case he might be right about this.
I try not to get too caught up in the short-term trends. What I try to do is look at the long-term trends. And there's a couple of big tailwinds now, which lead me to think that there's a good chance Bitcoin could be at $1 million per coin, by 2030 or so. And that's partly it's the regulatory clarity that's emerging. I mentioned the Genius Act, and now with market structure legislation, hopefully getting close, that could be a major moment. We also saw the United States of America now has a strategic Bitcoin reserve. So if the United States government is going to begin holding Bitcoin, I think that's going to be a massive driver of demand, and the rest of the G20 countries will probably follow suit. And then the last thing I'd say is that we saw recently the launch of the Bitcoin ETFs by a number of different firms, and Coinbase is actually powering 80% of the custody for those that are out there. But we're seeing a ton of institutional money continue to flow into Bitcoin now that these ETFs are live. So there's a lot of positive tailwinds for Bitcoin, and I think that there's never going to be more than 21 million Bitcoin ever made in the world. and lots of pools of capital still haven't gotten access to it. So that tells me this thing has a long way to run.